Welcome back. In chapter 1, we established that operations is the engine of the firm. Today, in chapter 2, we shift our focus to the steering wheel. That is, how we align that engine with a global strategy to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. As MBA students, you must recognize that we no longer operate in a domestic vacuum. Since 1990s, nearly 3 billion people in developing countries have joined the global economic stage, and they have fundamentally changed the standards of quality, variety, and cost. Now, I'm going to show you the example of Boeing to understand how global economies affected our way of working. So let's look at Boeing 787 Dreamliner to see globalization in action. This aircraft isn't made in one place. It's assembled from 2.3 million components that are sourced worldwide. For example, 35% of its structure comes from Japanese firms like Mitsubishi and Fuji Heavy Industries, while its wiring is from France and its engines are from UK. So Boeing uses a virtual workspace to allow engineers and partners to make concurrent design changes in real time. So global supply chain is now a prerequisite for aerospace leadership. So Boeing is an example for that. Why do we globalize? Okay, it goes beyond a simple cost-cutting strategy. While it helps in reducing costs, international operations also allow us to improve the quality. And they also allow us to improve the supply chain by locating near unique resources. For example, think of auto styling studios in Southern California, okay, or perfume essence in Grasse, France. Furthermore, you can also see that it provides access to global talent and management innovations such as German robotics or Japanese inventory management. However, this complexity brings risks, including exchange rate fluctuations and geopolitical instability. This requires very sophisticated risk management strategies. Okay, so we are going to understand in this chapter, in the context of all of this, what is the mission and strategy? What are the different approaches to competitive advantages and success factors and core competencies, what they mean, how they affect. When we talk about globalization, what kind of rating can we do for both our country and outsource providers to evaluate which one is better? And we talk so much about globalization, therefore, what are the different global strategies? Okay, so now we can see how world trade as a percentage of world GDP has changed over a period of time. It has increased even during COVID. Maybe after COVID, it has gone down a bit, but then you can see the trend is up and up and up. You see, so world trade as a percentage of world GDP has been increasing. So therefore, globalization is something that is there to stay. Okay. Now, like I said, definitely we are going to interact a lot with foreign customers, suppliers, and competition has also increased a lot because of globalization. Okay. And therefore, it leads to new opportunities and new challenges. Opportunities in terms of extending the product life cycle, and also, like I said, we can relocate our facilities in other parts where not only are we talking about cost advantage, we are also talking about improving supply chain. Okay, so we also get new ideas from different places and in different and we get exchange of technology, better employment opportunities, etc. Okay, so but however, there are also cultural and social challenges, and the laws are different. And in different countries, the codes of conduct for ethics, what they think is right and wrong, is also very different. So these are all challenges in globalization. Okay, now in this context, let's look at the vision and mission of organizations. So how do we position ourselves? How do we create our purpose for the organization? Okay, so a firm's success depends on two pillars: mission and strategy. What is a mission? Mission is something that defines an organization's purpose, which means what it contributes to the society, while strategy is the action plan to get there. It's like a plan, but it's a master plan. Crucially for you as managers, there is a hierarchy of first missions, then the corporate mission must be supported by functional missions, like you have mission for marketing department, finance department, operations department. Then if the firm's missions is to be something that is worldwide, low cost manufacturer, if that is what their mission is, to be a worldwide low cost manufacturer, the operations management department's mission will also uh, be aligned to it. Specifically, it should focus on facility utilization and supply chain efficiency to match that. Okay, so the um, example of mission statement of Merck is given here. So the mission of Merck is to provide society with superior products and services. This tells you what it plans to do, what is its purpose. Innovation, solutions that improve the quality of life and satisfy customer needs, to provide employees with meaningful work and advancement opportunities, and investors with a superior rate of return. So this is the overall mission for Merck. And accordingly, its operations department mission will be uh, designed to suit this. Same is the case with PepsiCo. Look at their mission statement. And now you can see Arnold Palmer Hospital, what kind of mission statement they have, which is their purpose and how they want to provide the goods and services. So the organization's mission shapes the functional area's mission, like I told you, right? So here is a sample of what I said. You can see the sample mission is to manufacture a service an innovative, growing, and profitable worldwide microwave communications business. If that is a company's mission, what is the operations management team's mission? It will be to produce products consistent with the company's mission as the worldwide low-cost manufacturer. So they will have their product design mission accordingly to design and produce products with quality and inherent customer value. Quality management mission will be accordingly designed. Process design strategy, mission also will be um, in line with the overall mission, right? So you can see, and what are the other aspects of operations management? You have product design, quality, process, location, layout, design, human resources, supply chain, inventory, scheduling, maintenance. All these sub-departments also will have mission statements to suit this mission statement: produce product consistent with company's mission as the worldwide low-cost manufacturer. So everything will be in accordance with that. Okay. So that is the starting point, the mission of the organization. From the mission of the organization, the department missions are formulator, and the sub-departments also. Now, then comes the strategy. Okay. The strategies are what, like I said, master action plan. So you have one master action plan to make sure you achieve your mission. That is for the organization. But then they are also broken down into functional action plans to support each other and to achieve the main mission of the main strategy of the organization. So how do you do that? You do that by exploiting the strengths and opportunities and neutralizing the threats and weaknesses that the organization faces. So this is called SWOT analysis. Okay, so um, let us look at this. Okay, so we have different types of strategies. So first one is um, differentiation strategy, cost leadership. Second one is cost leadership strategy, and third one is response strategy. These are the three different types of strategies that generally companies follow. So these are conceptual approaches. So what is differentiation? It's about providing uniqueness, okay? Uniqueness that impacts the customer's perception of value, okay? So that means it can be experience differentiation, where we engage the customer's five senses as seen in Disney's theme parks or Hard Rock Cafe's dining environment. So that is their differentiation. Then comes the cost, um, you know, leadership. That means achieving maximum value as defined by the customer. It does not mean low quality. Example, Walmart. They achieve cost leadership through 24-hour operations and a sophisticated distribution system that drives down their overhead. Okay. So there are so many examples. Okay. The next one is response. Response is flexibility, reliability, and speed, all three encompassed in one. So if you look at Hewlett Packard, for example, they excel by mobilizing their supply chain to match volatile life cycles of the PC market, personal computer market. But if you look at Superfast Pizza, they use mobile kitchens to deliver product in under a minute. So how fast the response is in terms of flexibility, reliability, and speed. So these are the three types of strategies. And then how do you decide which strategy is appropriate for you? For that, you look at the operations, the opportunities and strengths, opportunities in the environment, and strengths in the internal environment, opportunities in the external environment, strengths in the internal environment, the threats in the external environment, and the weaknesses in your internal environment. And based on all this, you decide whether you want to go for a differentiation, cost leadership, or response strategy. And these are three main conceptual strategies, but there can be others also. Okay. So, you have, like I said, in operations management, the always remember these are the aspects of operations management. You have the product, quality, process, location, layout, human resources, supply chain, inventory, scheduling, and maintenance. These are all part of operations management. So your strategy may be differentiation, cost leadership, or response. Okay. So if that is your strategy, depending on what your strategy is, your operations management is also designed towards it. So for example, if you have differentiation as your strategy, your design, right? Your design will be innovative. Your product line will be broad. Your after sales service will be very specific. Experience will be very unique. So for example of innovative design is Safe Skins innovative gloves. Broad product line is Fidelity Securities. After sales service, Caterpillar's heavy equipment service. So based on what your strategy is, your operations strategy will also be different. If your overall strategy is cost leadership, then you will have low overhead as one of the operation strategy. You will try to have efficient and effective capacity use. And you will be very strict about managing your inventory. And you have examples for all those things. Like you have Southwest Airlines, you have Walmarts, you have call routes, warehouse type stores. All these are to save costs and efficiently use. Similarly, if you have response as your strategy, you can see how the operations will be accordingly changed. Hewlett Packard will has flexible design as one of its strategies to volatile world market. And then FedEx absolutely positively on time. That's their reliable, that is their mantra. And then super fast pizza baking in the delivery truck within a minute. So that is how they have you know done their operations accordingly. So differentiation is better, cost leadership is cheaper, response is faster. Now that becomes your competitive advantage. Okay. Now, when we look at these strategies, okay, there are different frameworks for analyzing these strategies from operations point of view. Okay, we can use resource view. So resource view is one way of analyzing the operation strategy. So um, it ensures our strategy is compatible with the available physical, financial, and human capital, right? So that is the resource view. We want to make sure that our strategy is compatible with whatever financial resources we have, physical resources we have, and the human resources that we have. Then if we look at value chain framework, okay? So if we look at value chain framework as something that we can use to analyze our operation strategy um, to to comply with the overall mission and overall organizational mission, departmental mission, and um, organizational strategy, then Porter's value chain analysis will means identifying specific activities like product design or quality management, where we can add unique value. Then the other framework for analyzing operation strategy is Porter's five forces, which accounts for what rivals does a company have, what kind of threat of new entrants does it face, what kind of threat of substitutes. Um, so all those five forces, rivals, new entrants, substitutes, suppliers. Um, so these are the five forces, and then you analyze them, and then remember that strategy is dynamic and it should shift as a product moves through different stages of its life. Okay, so now, for example, if we look at the product's life cycle, okay, in the introduction phase, operations management focuses on R&D and high production costs. Okay, in growth phase, it'll be to change price and quality image, and so that they can grow fast. Then there is maturity, that is more to defend market position. And then at the decline, you're trying to reduce your um, costs, like minimize costs and pruning low margin items, etc. Okay. Now when we look at strategy development and implementation, we talked about the SWOT analysis, that is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so if we implement starting with SWOT analysis, we are able to position our organization so that we can maximize our opportunities and minimize our threats. Based on that, we can identify what our key success factors are. Okay, so um, now if you see, for example, Amazon, how it updated Sears strategy. So Sears transitioned from mail order to brick and mortar, you know, and it revolutionized retail. But Amazon mirrors this by opening physical bookstores, acquiring Whole Foods and partnering with Kohl's. Then Sears expanded from selling watches to diverse products. So Amazon also followed it. Then if you see consumer loyalty and um, warehouse utilization, both of them followed similar practices. But Sears ventured into services like car insurance. Amazon also ventured into cloud services and media. But where did Sears fail? It failed to adapt to changes. Okay, but Amazon is constantly adapting, and that's how we are seeing that it is doing well. So we first use the SWOT analysis to identify what our strengths and opportunities are, internal and external opportunities, internal strengths, and what our external weaknesses are and external threats are. Okay, based on that, we formulate our strategy. Then, so this is our external environmental and internal environmental analysis. Okay, now based on that, we understand the environment and then we create our mission. And that is the purpose, and from there we get the strategy. Okay, now then we identify the key success factors. Okay, like for example, layout for McDonald's. That becomes the key success factor for McDonald's, and that is how it gets us core competency. So, what is this core competence? That is unique talent that we have at and which is like world class standard. For example, Honda's design of gas powered engines. Then, you know, based on this core competency, then what we are doing is we do activity mapping. Okay. So here we have, we identify factors that support core competency and we do the activity mapping. Okay. So when we look at Southwest Airlines, okay, or when we look at okay, when we look at Southwest Airlines, for example, you look at their low cost advantage. It's a web uh, of reinforcing activities, and that is how they're able to do it. Okay, they have lean, productive employees, high aircraft utilization, standard fleet, frequent, reliable schedules, point to point routes, courteous, limited passenger service. All of this is like interconnected. It's a web of services. Okay, and their low cost advantage is stems from using secondary airports, standardized fleets, and how they integrate it to make their strategy incredibly difficult for any competitor to replicate. Okay, you can see this, more of this. No meals, lower gate costs, etc. And how they've different kind of strategies. Okay, so this is all what operation. You have a overall mission of serving high quality uh, airline, high quality, providing high quality airline services to customers at an affordable rate. That could be your mission. Then your strategy will be com competitiveness. And then your operations level strategy, this is how your operations level strategies are. Okay. So how it came up with this is by looking at the opportunities and strengths and it looked at its own weaknesses and its own threats, and based on that, it came up with all these things. It identified what the key success factors are, what its um, core competencies are, and that's how it created this activity map. Okay, all right. Now, if we look at more such examples, how they have integrated, okay, how they've integrated their strategy um, into their operations level strategies. You can see there is this drug, a brand name drug, and there is this generic drug. Brand name drug strategy is product differentiation, and generic is low cost. So based on that, their operations strategy will be very different. The product selection and design will be for differentiation, heavy R&D. For low cost, it'll be low R&D. Quality, major priority here. Just meet regulatory requirements. Process, modular production process. Tries to have long product runs, specialized facilities. Here, it'll be general production process. Location, in a city where it is founded. Here, low tax, low labor cost. So you can see the entire operation strategy, scheduling, maintenance, everything, all of that will be different based on what your strategy is. Okay. Um, Also, when we talk about uh, outsourcing, okay, it's the transfer of internal activities to external providers. Okay. Now, this outsourcing also came from a theory of comparative advantage. What it means is that if an external provider can provide a service or perform a task more productively, you should focus on what you can do best, your core competencies instead. Consider the financial implications, for example. So, contract manufacturers for iPad, they will earn 3 to 4% margin. But Apple, by focusing just on innovation and design, it retains 30 to 40% margin. But outsourcing may sound very good, but it's risky because roughly 50% of the agreements fail due to poor planning. So what you need to do in such case, how do you know, make sure that your planning is risk averse? Okay, so there are a lot of disadvantages, although the advantages may seem like very attractive. So you have cost savings and you can get outside expertise and you can improve your operations and maintain a focus. But disadvantages are what? Have increased logistics, loss of control, negative impact on employees because they think, they are going to lose their jobs, everything is being sent abroad. Then they will, you're actually creating your own competition. What if those people also start manufacturing and become your competitor? Okay. And you are going to outsourcing because you think there is a risk involved in doing it in the domestic market, but many times the risk may not manifest in for many years. So these are all disadvantages. Of course, your logistics costs are also very high, inventory costs are high. You lose control because you're sending it outside, right? So what do you do? Okay, what do you do? So you have to use factor rating method to objectively evaluate providers based on cost, quality, and cultural alignment. So for each of these factors, give points and give weights. Then you multiply that. So for example, here you can see how for each of the factors here, operating costs, okay, what is the weight that you're giving to that? Okay, capital investment, what is the weight? Skill, what is the weight? Quality, what is the weight? Then evaluate for what if I do it here in the US? What if I send it, outsource it to India? What is the point? If I outsource it to Israel, what is the point? Then you see finally which one is better. So you can see that it's better to produce it in America rather than send it to India or Israel. So you should definitely evaluate based on several factors, giving weight to each factor, and then also giving scores for each of those weights. Okay. Now, if you look at the recent shocks, okay, the 2020 pandemic, COVID pandemic, port blockages. Now we are seeing the um, geopolitical turmoil, wars, and all those things. They have eroded the traditional business case for offshoring. Now we are now therefore seeing a lot of surge in returning home, reshoring. They're saying, okay, let's bring back everything home, or at least move it closer, if not to our own home, or at least get shore it in some stable allies, friend shoring. Okay, so you can see that two-thirds of US and European manufacturers, they want to bring back their production to their countries, or move it to Mexico because which is closer, or shift it to India from China. Those kind of things are happening. This is friend shoring. Okay, so all these are happening. Okay, now if you see the example of Bath and Body Works, they moved production to Ohio. And the Ohio has something called a beauty park campus. They moved it there, and they reduced their soap production cycle from 3 months to 21 days. Okay, and based on because of that, they were able to do much faster deliveries, and they were able to reduce costs, and they were able to tackle environmental problems. So, but then they still have regulatory challenges. Okay. So these are the things. Okay. Now, if you look at in this context, if you look at what is the best option, whether to go international, whether to globalize, or whether to localize, what should we do? Okay. So here is a nice chart that tells you how to operationalize your international strategy. There are 4 types. Okay. Now we can say there is always a tension between cost reduction and local responsiveness. Okay. So the international strategy here, they use exports and licenses, low cost pressure, low local response. So that is their import export or license existing product. That is their strategy. So Harley Davidson does that. Okay, they make it in one place and then export it. Okay, so but then there are other examples, like this is international strategy. That's what they do. They simply make it in one place and then they send it. But then there are you know other examples. Okay. So, for example, you have multi-domestic strategy where you decentralize your authority, which means you have in multiple places you're manufacturing. For example, McDonald's, you will see that everywhere, all over the world. Heinz, you will see that everywhere. Body Shop everywhere. Hard Rock Cafe everywhere. So they have facilities all over. So this is another way of operationalizing globally. Then you have transnational, where the world, it's like a world company. It's not an American company or a European company. It's a world company where assets and ideas cross all borders, and they recognize that core competence can be anywhere. Example, Nestle, 95% of their assets are outside the home country. So, in summary, what we can say is global operations provide immense opportunity but require a discipline and alignment to the 10 operation management decisions. Okay, what are those 10 operational management decisions? Product, design, process, layout, location, scheduling, human resources, maintenance, etc. So, we will see you in the next session to discuss about project management, but keep this in mind that whatever may be your global strategy, have to align your 10 operation management decisions to that strategy. Whether you do transnational, whether you do multi-domestic, whether you do global strategy, which is highly centralized for standardization and economies of scale, right? Or you do international, whatever it may be. Okay. With that, I will see you again in chapter 3.